who is the Priory, and specifically, what are its aims or raison d'etre?
Its aims are to protect and at the same time promulgate ancient truths, ancient mysteries. To say that they are protecting anything, any one thing, is difficult. They're protecting much more than one nameable secret or unnameable secret. Their ultimate goal is not one of world domination, but one of world unity and the evolution of man to the next rightful stage.
Does it sort of exist in the shadows? Is that where it's most comfortable?
If you're in the shadows, you have a clearer view of the light. Yeah.
I know one of the big questions that people have is they've had journalists and authors have had a very hard time pinning down the Priory's true history in documentary form or historically, and that's cast a big shadow on the veracity of its being. How can you help us with that?
Zion surfaces in a manner that allows it to be seen. It leaves its imprints, a little like any traveller. It surfaces at times in history when it's expedient for it to make appearances, although they are, in the general sense and time frame, fleeting. But it is a pre-Christian concept, ideal.
Mm-hmm.
It stretches back as old as man, I suppose. It takes many shapes and forms simply because it is forced to evolve and change its features and adjust in an ever-changing world, which indirectly it aids the changing of. It plays its own part culturally in the main.
Is it possible for, not now, but is it possible for the Priory to prove, let's say, beyond reasonable doubt, its history and provenance, and therefore its reality, or not?
Ultimately, yes. But in doing that, to the ultimate, to the final goal, it would facilitate showing its hand, as it were, which it's not yet prepared to do, but it will do. It doesn't need to do that, in all honesty. It never has needed to do that. And it is really not important that we're believed or not believed. At this point in time, there will come a time when much of what has been said that is correct, and much of what has been fathomed by others whose steps you follow will be all too clear. I can't really elucidate any further on that, but that is, we are comfortable with that. The fact that inquiring minds may not be so comfortable with it, it's not our problem, really.
But categorically, it is a real order.
Yes.
And it can trace its history back to pre-Christian times.
Yes.
What sort of people are members of the Priory today?
All kinds of people. All kinds of people. There are people from the world of literature, the world of the arts, in all forms. There are ecclesiastical members of the church. There are individuals who are spiritually orientated. There are philosophically orientated individuals.
Presumably your approach to join, are you?
Yes.
Do you have to be a Mason, or is that not important?
It's not important.
How much can you tell us about the objects that you have, the physical evidence that you have, and in what form that takes?
I cannot tell you. I'm not prepared to tell you anything about that. What I can tell you is that there is a body of evidence that exists.
Incontrovertible.
Incontrovertible.
That if it was revealed would change mass opinion, or is it not such stature that would be the case? Is it genuinely headline making revelatory?
That would depend on when it were revealed. As we reach a point in our evolution where the church's role is increasingly less and less, and science revolves round and round in a nutshell of its own making, learning more and more about less and less. I mean, it's about the timing. If it's timed correctly, it shouldn't come as too much of a blow. In fact, it will become probably, oh well, it's just as we suspected. That probably would be the response. That is a response that is hoped. Okay.
Can you see this? Can you see something? Can you see that body of evidence being revealed in my lifetime?
Possibly. Quite possibly.